Now, since these markets are getting a lift from the sentiment turning a little bit, as well as some positive earning reports, we will be turning our attention to the macro picture when the Fed makes its interest rate decision in the U.S. tomorrow. Joining us now for a discussion about all of these things on the markets, Trent Wagner is the executive director at Fox Group. Trent, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Amber.
So what's the mood out there today compared to the past couple of days? What are people focusing on today versus what they were looking at a couple days ago?
Well, I mean, obviously earnings are playing a part here. D.R. Horton this morning, you mentioned that in the lead-in here. I think what surprised so many people about D.R. Horton was the housing data that we had released on Monday here missed fairly badly. A lot of people attributed that to the weather here in the U.S. It has been very cold. I'm sure that's nothing new for the viewers in Canada, but nonetheless, it missed fairly badly. So when D.R. Horton came out this morning, beat earnings, I think by 20%, 36 cents a share. It was certainly something unforeseen. So that started to change the tide. Last night when when Apple released their earnings, we dropped off in the after-hour session there. So for Apple to miss as far as the forward revenue is concerned, and turn around like this today, I think it does have a lot of people's attention that we may have just seen a correction versus a larger turn drawdown that a lot of people were worried about.
When you look at the moves in the market, would you call the correction, would you call it a correction, I should say, or do you expect further downside for the S&P 500?
I think we could get a little downside, Amber. I mean, tomorrow's Fed announcement is going to really obviously provide some volatility in the markets, but I do believe that the S&P could trade a little lower. That 1760 area seems to have a magnet on it as far as the technicians out there are concerned from a support level. But I don't expect there to be a large return drawdown. In fact, I would be buying the pullback we've seen over the past few days. You look at earnings, I think 69% of companies that are reported thus far have beat. That's a little above the 10-year average at this juncture. So there isn't an awful lot out there that's leaning towards this market really selling off. In fact, we haven't had a 4 or 5% correction in this market in a long time, and that's actually healthy for bull markets. So I wouldn't be surprised to have us go down a little further from where we are right now, but I'm not expecting us to see a washout type sell-off in the near future.
Well, let's focus on tomorrow and the Fed decision. The market right now, there's a consensus out there that they will pull back on stimulus to the tune of $10 billion, but consensus has been wrong before on these kind of predictions.